Hey friends, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I did an aura healing for a client today for a beautiful goddess, and I wanted to talk about aura healing because I realized I don't actually talk about it that much, even though it's so amazing and I love it. So I thought, why don't I take the opportunity to chat about it since it's fresh in my mind? So, first of all, you might be wondering, well, what is my aura anyway? And why would it need healing, right? So, if you've never had an aura healing, those are good questions to ask. So, the aura is our energetic protection. It's a part of our energetic structure. And so, if you think about it's kind of like having a bubble around you at all times. And it's meant to sort of keep in the light, help you hold the light and keep out any negativity that's out there in the world or anything that might be harmful to you in the world. And when the aura is strong, it does its job and it does a great job at it. However, we live in a world that's not perfect, and so there's toxins in our environment and we get stressed out, and sometimes we don't get enough sleep, or we might actually have trauma, emotional trauma, which can damage the aura. Or it could just be things like just not getting enough. Sorry, my cat is distracting me in the background. I won't show her, but anyway. So it could be also that you're just not getting enough sleep, or your diet isn't as good as it ought to be, or substances. Like substances definitely can harm our aura, even alcohol. So over time, that protective bubble that's really meant to protect us from anything negative can get holes in it or tears in it, and then we start to feel more drained. And we start to be more and more affected by the outside world. So we get affected more by other people's negativity or other people's feelings, and particularly empaths, always report. And, I used to consider myself an empath, which I'll talk about why I don't anymore really. But empaths in particular report, that other people's emotions can really affect them in a negative way. And I used to call myself an empath, but now I'm so much less affected by other people's emotions, negative ones anyway. So while I am empathic, I don't necessarily anymore struggle with the things that some empaths struggle with, like having to deal with other people's burdens. And that's because I've worked on my aura and to strengthen it. So what are some things that you can do to strengthen your aura? So one great technique is meditation. Meditation absolutely helps you maintain your aura for sure, and can also strengthen it. And then good self-care regimen in general will help maintain your aura. So getting enough sleep, eating well, taking time to spend time in nature and do things that are joyful for you, those things can all help you maintain a really strong aura. But even if you do all of that, there are things that you cannot control in your environment, like we have polluted air, right? And unfortunately, we have polluted water and toxins in our food system. Even though we try to eat clean, we might still be absorbing some of those things. So, and then just living in a stressful environment, having stress at your job or with your family, all those things can then degrade the aura. And sometimes we can't do enough in our self-care routine to replenish it, and so it just gets weaker and weaker over time. And that's why people often feel drained by other people's energy or other people's emotions. So there are techniques that I offer, healing modalities for your aura. And one is very simply called the aura healing. And that one is great for strengthening your aura. So what I do is I actually go and I scan and I look for any areas that are weak or completely missing in your aura. And then I actually repair them. So I do something that's called flowing the agape love, which if you think about, okay, what's the opposite of, having trauma or distress? what could possibly heal that? What could possibly heal? What power is strong enough to heal any, wound that we might have? And that's love, right? So what we're trained to do when we do this particular form of aura healing is to flow the agape love to repair any damage to the aura. And so that it reseals your aura and makes your bubble really strong again, so that negativity and other people's stuff doesn't affect you anymore or nearly as much. So that's one healing modality that I offer. And then I also offer the 7-layer aura balancing, which is an Egyptian healing, which I love. And that one actually is better at clearing out the aura. So sometimes we actually store stuff in our aura, and usually what we're storing is not good. We store past emotions, wounds, trauma, things that we haven't yet let go of. And the problem with storing that negativity in our aura is that it will manifest in the physical if we don't clear it out. And that ends up being physical illness a lot of times, or even disease, and certainly can be physically draining. So we want our aura to not be carrying a bunch of excess junk, and we want it to not be tying up our energy with negative stuff. So the 7-layer aura balancing is really good for that, because it clears out a lot of the excess stuff that we don't want in our aura. And that particular healing honestly is one of my favorites that I offer, because we work with the Egyptian gods and goddesses, and they bring their own magic and their own form of healing to your 7 layers of the aura. And anyone who knows me knows that I love pretty much everything Egyptian. And the Egyptian gods and goddesses are amazing healers. And so we bring in their energy to help with that particular modality. And you also get to affirm your life purpose in that particular session, which is really good. So you're clearing out the old and then really making way for what your true purpose is. So those are 2 types of aura healings that I offer. I'm going to Toronto next week, and I'm actually going to learn a new form of aura healing, which is a shamanic aura healing, and I don't know that much about it yet, but I will report back after I get back from Toronto on all the new healing modalities I'm going to learn, and that's one of them. So